All right, shalom, shalom. Shalom. Your brother coming at you once again from the branch down here, GMS Tampa, Florida. Before we get started, we'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles, great millstone, do well. I said the scriptures, peace, love, and blessings also to you, you warriors out there, you laborers, you brothers out there on the highways and byways, giving all diligence, making call, election, sure you resilient men. All right, that's putting you how about you shop and also blessings to you very few people out there that are listening, learning, and believing. Okay, and we're just gonna start off through the spirit with the Revelation, the 10th chapter. Okay, concerning eating the whole roll, man. Okay. And eating the whole roll is basically accepting Yahweh Shai and all that comes with it. Like Job said, shall we not receive evil, good, and evil from the Most High? So just eating the whole roll is basically accepting the truth. Because there's some things written in this book that may offend you. All right, that you
the whole roll, not some of that.
Exactly, that you may wrestle with. It's been times where certain things have come out, and it took me a minute to like meditate on it and to basically ingest it and be like, okay, cool, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? So something which is the hard sins that the scriptures speak about. You feel what I'm saying? That may offend you, but
it's the deep, like the Paul says, the meat, you got the meat and then you got the milk. Yeah, the milk's easy to just digest. Yeah. Like a baby can suck the teat of the mom, to suck the titty milk. Yeah, it's natural, but when it comes to that meat, boy, that shit hard to chew. Exactly. So if you ain't got the teeth for it, so to say, the spiritual teeth, then you're not gonna be able to even chew it down to even digest it.
Exactly, man.
Just gonna add that.
Yep, and that's basically accepting, because Yahweh Shai is the word. So basically bearing your cross, accepting everything that Yahweh Shai comes with, whether it be good or evil. All right, so we're gonna hop right into Revelation, the 10th chapter. Okay. And I'm starting at the first verse. Revelation 10, verse 1 says, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud and a rainbow as upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as a pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open. And we have that little book right now. That's the scriptures. Okay.
Where are you at?
Revelation 10.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
It says, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot upon the earth.
Sure.
Yep. It says, and he cried with a loud voice as when a lion roared. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. Okay, so some things are revealed and some things not. Don't write those things. All right, but we have everything we have right now. We have everything basically equipped for or meet for salvation. All the things that are have been revealed unto us. Okay, it says, an angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that, and that's talking about Yahweh Shai, who created heaven and the things that are there, that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound the mystery of the Most High, should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants, the prophets. Going back to Amos 3 and 7. The Lord has done none but revealed unto his servants, the prophets. So all these mysteries, all these I think Elder Hart did a lesson recently. All right, the revelation isn't sealed unto the elect. All right, Yahweh Shai, read Revelation the 5th chapter. He has opened up the seals and basically released the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding unto the elect. Okay, starting with our elders, because they have to teach. How can a man learn? So they have a preacher. Okay, verse 8. It says, and a voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, go and take the little book, which we have the little book, that's the scriptures, which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. All right. And this is a parable going all the way back to the beginning of Genesis. Take this little book and eat it up. All right. You know, Adam and Eve ate up the wisdom or the philosophies of the wicked. They learned evil. As the serpent told Eve, you shall be gods knowing good and evil. Okay, so, you know, nothing new underneath the sun. The same parable all the way back from the beginning. So we're supposed to take the understanding, the wisdom that Yahushua has bestowed upon us and take this whole book, because the Lord has to open your mind up to receive this wisdom. Okay? And it's some hard things, some hard sayings within this book. But, all right, if you're party elect, you're going to be able to ingest it and digest it and accept it. And that starts in the mind. As scripture says, let every man be persuaded in his own mind. So it's some hard sayings, some things that may offend you, you know, because we've been brought up in America. We've been taught a certain way. So some hard sayings, such as the great doctrine. Okay, so some men, that's a hard saying unto them. Okay, but the Gentiles. But if you part elect, you're going to meditate. As scriptures speak about it in Proverbs, the 1st chapter. Basically, a wise man will meditate on these things, on each Proverbs, and he'll be able to basically understand them and accept them. Okay, so it says in Revelation 10:9, it says, and I went up to the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but shall be sweet as, it's like it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Okay, because find out you're Israelite. All right, find out all the other nations going into captivity. Find out basically you're going to rule over the other nations. All right, the Lord has set you to be the head in his you learn about the promises from our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those promises has been bestowed upon us. All that is sweet. You shall have the main. Just read the blessing that Jacob received. Okay, all that is sweet, but it says it shall be bitter in thy belly. But with that, you know, you have to go through the hell, as said in Ezra, to receive that inheritance, because that's all the promises. That's all inheritance. But as it says, 2nd Ezra, you have to go through the trouble to receive that inheritance, man. So it gets bitter. All right, Yahushua speak about the suffering with him, the bearing your cross, man. You know,
that's why it gets bitter, because they don't want to change their ways ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
I got something real quick just to back you up on this. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 32. I'll start at verse 14. It says, whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith, but the hypocrite will be offended thereat. Yeah, because the hypocrite, you're saying one thing, but you really offended. You know, you don't want to, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that. Because what this brother's going into is bitter. Yeah, it sounds sweet. Yeah, I'm an Israelite, you know, this and that. That's about where that ends for most Jakes. It's verse 16 says, they that fear the Lord shall find judgment and shall kindle justice as a light. Verse 17, the sinful man will not be reproved, but find an excuse according to his will. Because they don't want that bitter hit their stomach, and they either gonna feel in a type of way about it or just regurgitate it, you know, just throw it all back up, you know, because what they weren't being balanced at the end of the day. You know, they were trying to be over righteous. What happens when you eat too much honey? You throw that shit all the way back up. So all that honey you ate is not gonna do you any good, because you're just gonna not regurgitate. You're gonna throw it back up. Go ahead.
Yep. Real quick, this is the parable. The back of the brother, Luke 14. We're gonna come back to Revelation 10, but Luke 14 and 18, because like the brother said, man, you know, they hear these things, but when as saying Sirach, that's the 7th chapter, thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right, because the illusion of choice is there. As I say, Moses rather being, you know, Pharaoh, being in a top position, and Pharaoh chose rather to suffer afflictions, you know, with the people. Okay, it's scripture speak about Yahushua being rich, but basically made himself poor. You feel what I'm saying? So it's Luke 14. So this is a job. I remember building with the brother Mike Allah yesterday at camp. He's like, basically, this is a job that nobody wants to do, because when you fill out application, right? You look at the jobs, the requirements. It tell you all the requirements. You know, you need to be able to stand on your feet for 10 hours. You need to be able to lift 50 pounds or more. You need to be available, flexible. You need to be able to work weekends.
Right.
You know, you need to be at least a high school diploma, or you know, they are all the requirements. So when you look at the job of being a prophet, being a man of the Lord, this calling, right? As Scripture say, many are called, few are chosen, right? When you look at the job of being a prophet, you read Ecclesiastes, the second chapter, when I come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You look at like, man, so I'm being called into this. I'm going to catch hell, and I'm not getting paid directly. I have to wait on a payment. I have to wait till this entity appear to receive salvation. And I don't know if I'm a party like. A lot of people look at that job description, they be like, no. But here it is. You brothers have answered the calling. All right. So is a good chance you might be party elect, man. That makes you special men. Because who gonna take a job and you're not gonna get paid instantly? You feel what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna take a job like that. It takes a special man, a different man, a man of faith, to take a job that he's gonna catch hell. Once again, going back to Revelation, it's like going back to the example with Moses, choosing rather suffer affliction. Moses was in a high position in Egypt, okay, but he chose to take the low road, to suffer the afflictions, to basically decrease from that position and endure afflictions with the people of the Most High, as the Scripture said. But this is Luke 14, verse. I'm going to start at 16. Luke 14 and 16 says, Then said he unto them, A certain man made a great supper and bade many. And that certain man is Yahushua. And this is that great supper, the words of the Most High that you can come to and you can eat, man. As Scripture say, man shall not live by bread and water alone, by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. So a lot of you are hungry and hunger for something, and it's knowledge. Okay, so through Yahushua, this knowledge has been opened up to us so we can come and sup and eat with him to be filled, man. All right, Luke 14 and 16. Then said he unto them, A certain man made a great supper and bade many. So Yahushua is calling, man. Bade many. Verse 17. And sent his servant at supper time to say unto them that are bidden, were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. Verse 18. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground. I must needs go and see. I pray thee, have me excused. Okay? Because when you go into the suffering they outside bearing that cross, a lot of people don't want to choose to suffer. You know, because the flesh loves comfort. Who would give up eating steak and potatoes to go to eating PB&J? Not many people are willing to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's likewise with the truth. That's why, man, the Scripture say Moses choosing rather to suffer afflictions with the people of the Most High. How many people are willing to choose to go through hell? It's not many.
No, they rather enjoy sin.
Exactly. That's why Scripture say many are called, but few are chosen. Not many men will rather catch hell. Not many men will choose to drive a bucket, from driving a luxurious car to drive a bucket. It takes a special individual, a spiritual man, because the carnal things mean absolutely nothing to him. Okay? As long as our basic necessities, as Paul said, basic necessities laid upon him. As long as you got a vehicle to get to and fro, that's all a man of the Lord is truly worried about. He's not really worried about the style and driving and luxurious cars, the fashions of the world. Exactly. This man is moving with a purpose. Everything he does is with purpose. Why? Because he's on a mission. Okay. Now we can't be completely out here broke, but the Lord said, you know, he basically gonna give us our daily bread, and he's gonna basically make sure we have our basic necessities, man. Benefits. Our benefits, exactly. You know, he's not looking for nothing more, nothing less. If it's less, then we're suffering with poor. If it's more, then as Scripture say, yes, I be full in the 90. Right. So it's a perfect balance. All right. So going back to Luke 14 and 18. It says, and they with all one consent began to make excuse. And when you go into that word excuse, the etymology of the word excuse, basically that word means a way out. You're looking for a way out. Well, a way out of the calling, a way out of the job that Yahushua has set forth for us, man. Okay? You're going to catch hell. So a lot of people are looking for a way out so they don't have to catch hell. Okay? Which means they're not worthy. Who you are willing to follow, as scripture say, and they follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth, man. Follow me. Yahushua said, follow me. Okay? Not a lot of men are not willing to go there mentally. That's why it's for special men. You catching hell. Man, look, Yahushua is strategically playing this thing out to weed out the weak, to weed out the carnal-minded. That's why men don't last long. That's not meant for this. They're not built for this. They're not a part of the elect, because you got to be willing to follow Yahushua even if it's unto death. Cutting off certain things, following Yahushua, even if it costs you your life, man. Those are the true servants of Yahushua. Those are the men worthy for salvation, worthy of power, worthy of dominion over the planet Earth. Okay? You got it, brother.
Baba Kashak, can I get this word suffer for you real quick? I know the brother got something. I just want to grab this word to back you up, because you're making a beautiful point as far as suffering. The scriptures say humility before honor. And a lot of people are not willing to humble themselves down to the lowest condition as the Lord did. But he put a special spirit on certain men that were able to put on that bear their cross and suffer just as he suffered, to enter into that lot. I got you, brother. The word suffer is from the mid-1300s. Allowed to occur or continue. So that spirit to continue. The Lord has put a spirit on us to continue in our tribulation, our trial, and misfortunes. You know, everybody, they discontinue. A lot of our people, they discontinue. They go back in the world. You know what I'm saying? It says permit, tolerate. You got to be able to tolerate your condition, tolerate paying the bills, baby mama drama, tolerate skin disease, you know, bodily afflictions, back pains, and still produce, still go out and teach every Saturday. Still do your lessons. You got to be able to suffer. It says fail to prevent or suppress. So you can't be suppressed in this truth. You gotta be open to understanding the condition of the battle, right? It says also to be made to undergo. You gotta be made. You know what I'm saying? So going into being built, you know, the Lord, what He has done to us is He put something in us that made us the person who we are, which is a spirit. We're built upon a foundation of faith. You know, it says endure, be subjected to pain, death, punishment, judgment, grief. All right, it says to bear, to undergo, to carry or put under. So to back you up, like you said, the men of the Lord, they have a special spirit about them, because what? They understand the judgment written. So they're going to tolerate the grief, the pain, the suffering, the bodily affliction, because ultimately what's on their mind is this is a light affliction, you know, and it's only for a moment, you know.
Yeah. Going back to the parable, Luke 14. And let's go back to 18. It says, and they with one consent began to make excuse. Why? Because majority of Jake don't want to suffer, man. That's why the Lord's only dealing with the elect. It says, the first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen. I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So the servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said unto his servant, go out quickly into the streets, in the lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out on the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be fulfilled. So the Lord is calling out for laborers, man. Warriors, workers, man. That's gonna hold it down. That's gonna keep fighting. That's gonna continue to push the truth. That's gonna endure all things. That's what the Lord is calling for. And not many men are willing to take upon the hardship and to suffer. A lot of dudes got excuses, man. Like the elder Monaghan said within the last couple of weeks, a month. Jake got excuses, man. Immortality is on the line, But that comes with going back to the point, eating the whole roll, accepting everything that comes with it, the sweet and the bitter. Going back to the example of Job, shall we not receive good and evil? So shall we not receive the sweet and the bitter from the Most High? Okay, which is basically understanding of that perfect love. Praising the Most High, whether you're down bad, or praising the Most High, whether you're good. That's that perfect love within Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Okay, we're going back to Luke. It's like Revelation 10.
Real quick, and that's what really the whole story of Job was about. He was good, just like we were good at the beginning. Then he caught nothing but hell, but he got it all back and more at the end. You read the very last chapter in the book of Job. He was able to meet his children again. If you can receive it, they came back in their generations. But he had to suffer to receive everything back, because he lost everything. He had it all, so to say, and then he lost it all. And then it all was returned unto him because he kept his integrity.
Yep. Bring it out for you, bro. 1400s. Integrity, innocence, blameless, chastity, purity. So he kept that pure love towards Yahweh. It wasn't
contingent on the condition he was in. Exactly. That's what his woman was trying to get him to. But that's why you shouldn't listen to women when it comes to dealing with the Most High. They don't know. The scripture tell you the wisdom was not imparted unto women. So if you're following the ways after a woman, when it comes, hey, maybe the woman might tell you something, y'all cleaning the kitchen and she mentioned something that, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. All right, cool. But when it comes to serving Yahweh, above all, that's just one, situation, but there's other situations where you can take the advice of a woman and it actually help you out. But the majority of the time, and especially most importantly, when it comes to serving the Lord, never listen to a woman. Absolutely not. However, there are women that are set up by the Lord, but they ain't gonna be there are far few in between, But just using the example of Job, she wanted him to just sell out, in other words. And that's what we coming into the days of two. Your woman's gonna want you to sell out, take the chip, be a bitch, okay, and end up getting destroyed. But if you keep your integrity like Job did, hey, even if she dies, hey, you'll get her back. Either way, just like look at Lot. He did what the Lord told him to do. His wife wanted to look back because she was leaving the possessions, right? But she didn't. She was like, whatever. Even though Lot knew the place was about to be destroyed, that's why he didn't look back, because the Lord warned him. Just like the Lord's warning us. Well, if he would have listened to her, he would have died. Him and his daughters would have died. They would all look back and got, exactly. They would all became Medusa, so to say. Comes the pillar of salt. But again, going back to Job, he didn't listen to his woman. Shit, he's like, what are you, one of them foolish women? Because at the end of the day, that's our woman, man. Even though there's gonna be majority of the great multitude is gonna be women, but they're not leading us and they're not giving us advice. They ain't got nothing to say, but they ain't got no matter. They ain't got no how's the saying go? They ain't got no saying in the matter. They're just there to ride along, really. And again, the Lord put the spirit on them to make some good suggestions here and there, but when it comes to salvation, a woman can't lead you down that road, bro. Because most likely she being led by a man anyway. So if she telling you something, then they somebody else teaching her. Change the topic.
So back in Revelation 10, verse 9, it says, "And I went unto the angel and I said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall be in thy belly bitter, but shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey." So
coming into the truth. Oh damn! Like we were explaining yesterday, I can't. Yeah, it's like it's all cool and dandy until you start getting to the nitty gritty. Like you got to change your ways. Marriage's gonna be destroyed. Everything you see around you is gonna be destroyed. Everything around you is contrary to the Lord. Then Jake started, damn, what the fuck? I can't smoke black in my house. It started to get bitter once you start to digest it. Once you start, in other words, once you start actually considering what we're telling you, because what we're telling you is the words of the Lord. So once you start actually considering it and meditating on it, whatever, that shit it ruins Jake. Like, damn, man, I don't want to change my, because ultimately they're not set up. They're not set up to eat the whole roll. They might take a couple pieces, right? Once they get to their stomach, like, oh, hell no. They don't want to eat the rest of it. It's like, your carrots are good for you. You taste it, or broccoli, whatever, the good shit for you, the good vegetables. A child might eat it. So you might eat one or two, and then you start making that face. And that's what happens. Jake started actually, because it sounds good on paper, right? Which it is. It is great. It's the gospel. But once you find out that missiles are coming, you can't do what you're currently doing, it starts to become bitter because you have to change your ways, and it's not easy in the sense of that's why it's a how to say it, it's not overnight. It's a process. The water, but Jake don't want to go through that. Jake will go through the process to make it to the NBA, but they won't go through the process to serve the Lord because it's bitter. Then the NBA, it's hey, you gonna get money, you're gonna get fame, yes, it's all sweet over there. But what happens when it got to be a balance? If it's too sweet, it's usually not good for you. Candy's sweet, you keep indulging in candy is gonna destroy you. Yeah, your teeth rot, your organs are gonna rot. You're gonna have diabetes, all kinds of diseases. But the bitters, they're the best things for you. When it comes to herbs and food, fruits and plants, the bitter stuff is the best things for you. So even though it's gonna be bitter, it's the best thing for you.
It's good for the heart, the mind.
Hey, turmeric, cayenne pepper. It's super bitter. It don't taste good at all, but it's some of the best things for your heart. Among others. Beet. What is it? Beet juice.
Beet juice, yeah.
That's bitter as hell, but it's good. It's great for you. On the other hand, honey is sweet in your mouth, but if you eat too much of it, it'll become bitter because you're gonna spit it up. Anything can become bitter in your mouth, but in this case, the word of the Lord, it might be bitter in your stomach, but you're not. If you're truly sincere, you're not gonna spit it back out. Because it's still good for you at the end of the day. But that's why it's all in moderation. You gotta have a balance, because you can bug yourself out with the word. The word is honey. The word is wine. You drink too much wine, you drink too much honey, what happens? You're gonna spit it back up.
Revelation 10:10, it says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and I ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Okay? And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings, which is scripture solidified reincarnation. But as John said, man, he took it and he ate it up, and it was sweet in his mouth as honey. When he had eaten it, his belly became bitter. Mm-hmm. All right. That's the tribulations, the trials, afflictions that everything is the truth come with. The scriptures say, he that departed from evil shall make himself a prey.
Yeah, like brother said, that's when it really starts becoming bitter when you actually start applying it. Shit, people hating me, I'm losing friends and family. To most, that's why it says it's bitter, because we're all in the flesh. We're all, people that want comfort and want to be surrounded by, loved ones, so to say. But you start losing loved ones, you're like, what the fuck? So it becomes bitter. But hey, guess what? The Lord, that's why when the Lord was being crucified, they didn't give him nothing sweet. Right. They gave him that gall, vinegar, he had to drink the bitter too. So what's your excuse, So it's going to become to a certain degree bitter. You're going to be like, damn, but eventually you get used to the bitter,
right?
Like you start taking bitter herbs every day. That shit is cakewalk. Like horseradish, you know, we do horseradish once a year, but if you do horseradish throughout the year, that shit is like eating potato chips because you get used to it. You get used to the bitterness. So that's what we got, you know, beginning with the elder apostles, we've gotten used to the bitterness. We eat that like it's, you know, like people eat Doritos. You know, we swallowing down the bitter because we know it's part of it. Hey, we got the sweet, the wine, we got the bitter, the bitter herbs, and we got the meat. You know, we got the whole course. You got to eat the whole course, man. Which is, you know, you go into the word bread I believe it goes into the word meat, or pretty much meat, which just means food. You know, so if you want to have a full course meal, even in school they teach you that about the pyramid. You know, you know what I'm talking about? Grains, so they show you gotta have a full balanced meal, and that's eating the whole roll. Yeah, because some things gonna be sweet, some things gonna be bitter, but it all complements itself each other. Good. I have something?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 8. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house.
And that bitter make you rebellious quick. Because look, when the Israelites were leaving Egypt, oh, it was sweet as hell, huh? But when they found out they started walking through the wilderness, they're like, oh, hell no. It became bitter unto them. They're like, yeah, they saw the Lord deliver them. But once they figured out they couldn't get the melons and the cucumbers anymore, they was willing to go back to slavery for it, man.
Moses up there too long.
So it says, Ezekiel 2:8, but thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. You see, so pretty much the rest of the Jake that was brother going into, many are called, a few are chosen. Those that made excuses, they was rebellious. See, the word was given unto them, but they ain't want to receive it. So that's why the Lord told Ezekiel, he said, don't be like them. You know what I'm saying? Eat what I give thee. Verse 9, and when I looked, behold, in hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And that's this word. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe.
Is that bitter?
Exactly.
Because it's cool to find out it's like, oh, you guys chosen people, you know, we're a peculiar people, we're above everybody else. And then we start telling you the majority of our people are going to die. You know, everybody can't be saved. You know, so on and so forth. That it becomes bitter. Yeah, I'm an Israelite. And then you go home and find out that there's more to just being an Israelite. Because that's the thing is, in certain camps just give you the sweet. You know, they giving you cavities, diabetes, because all they give you is the sweet. They give you spiritual diabetes, man. And you see what happens with people with real diabetes. They amputate their feet. You know, they end up dying. You know, all kind of diseases come from that. Well, all kind of diseases come from diet, period. But so you gotta have that balanced diet. And if you don't like the bitters, you have an unhealthy diet, because the bitters are the best things for you, or the things that, you know, bitter. Matter of fact, somebody look up the word bitter. You know, anything that really tastes nasty, people don't like. You know, but usually that's the best things for you. But let's just see what it says there before you keep reading.
This is the etymology of the word bitter, adjective. It says having a harsh taste, sharp, cutting, angry, full of animosity.
Yeah, it's like somebody being bitter. Why you being so bitter if he angry at you? But it's a what it say, the first one? Sharp taste. What else?
It says
because you know what you taste something sharp, oof, like that horseradish. You know, that should make you oh man. Go ahead.
It says having a harsh taste,
harsh. It's harsh. It's a harsh pill to swallow, as they say. The truth. Once you really, because again, we're not here to just feed you some truth. We're here to give you the whole truth. And it's sweet and bitter. It's like the candy, sweet, what is it, sweet and sour, or some shit like that. Whatever. I think that's a sauce, but you know, you get the point.
Sweet now, sour later.
There you go. Yeah. The Sour Patch Kids or whatever. You know, so it might taste sweet, but it's gonna be bitter at one point. If not, then you didn't eat the whole thing, or you didn't eat the whole meal at the table. You know, you just picking. You know, you got to eat the whole meal, man. You got to eat the meat, the potatoes, the greens, the carrots, all that, for you to get the full course. In other words, for you to get the full understanding, you got to eat the whole roll. That's what the brothers read.
Which goes into balance. I know Barack can attest. When you a chef, right? You put something spicy in there. You put another ingredient in there to balance out, to basically neutralize the spice. Or if it's sour, you put another ingredient in there to
sweet,
to side the sour, whereas it's a complete balance, man. So that's the words of the Most High, man. You know, it's sweet, yeah, but too much sweet is bad for you. So the sour is mixed, but put them both together, it's perfect. It's a neutralizing substance that's it's bearable for the elect.
Yeah. And the main thing, the most important things you need to be eating, we just read it, the Lamentations, Mournings, and Woes. So yeah, they might be the most bitter things on the plate, but if you don't eat them, you're not going to get that full nutrition. You're not going to get the full the full benefits of the meal. Because you could eat, the sweet things, the yams. Jay just ate the yams, left the horseradish all untouched. It's like, yo, you didn't even eat the whole roll, but you say, oh yeah, that meal was good. Well, we say regardless, it's all the gospel to us at this point, whether it's sweet or bitter, because we've already in that. We're used to the bitter now. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I mentioned earlier, you keep eating bitter things every day, it's gonna be a normal thing for you. You get used to it. So if you're not willing to do that, because it's a struggle, that shit burns. That shit makes your nose hairs burn. Eating the bitters, especially just going back to the bitter herbs we eat during the Passover. You eat that horseradish, man. That shit burns your nose hairs. But if you eat it, not every day, again, gotta be a balance. But if you eat it constantly, when that time comes around, it's gonna be all right. Just chew it up. Or if you eat spicy things like that, bitter herb, not spicy as in hot sauce, but bitter herbs. There's a difference between bitter herbs and hot sauce. But you get used to it at the point, and you accept it. Right. This is just part of the meal.
Just a little. It was a little bit more on this. It says figuratively in Old English of states of mind in words. So the state of mind in words. So when brothers are speaking, it's putting you in a certain state.
And that's for bitter, right?
Yeah, for bitter. Yeah. So you can either reject it or accept it, and it's gonna come out. As the brother Ash always goes into too, closing out the camp and everything, man. Repent or die, bro.
That's some bitter words right there. What the fuck you mean repent or die? Because most people don't learn that. They go to church, everybody want to hold hand, and then they leave us and they hear repent or die. What the fuck he talking about? Well, clearly you don't know the scriptures. Because the Lord sent his disciples on and said, tell them as you go preaching, repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. But I like to go a little deeper and give you the full bitter, because that's repent, change your ways, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Well, what happens if you don't receive the kingdom at the first fruits? You're gonna die. So that's bitter to hear. The nuclear missiles are coming. People love the average Jake, man. They love America. And you tell them America's gonna be destroyed, it's crumbling. They can't see it. They think everything's all cool. Everything's cucumbers. Everything's chilling like cucumbers. But we tell them, we bring out the scriptures, and then we show you with the articles, right, and the current events. Mm-hmm. That becomes bitter to Jake, and they don't want to digest it. That's why they'll rather just never come back around again. We can't tell them everybody can't be saved. That's discouraging to Jake, because they've been eating that sweet their whole life. And then we give them a little bit of just a little piece of horseradish, and they just spit it out. It's like, damn, all right, well, the same for you then. This meal was not prepared for you at the end of the day, right? Because like the parable says about the wedding, bring them into the marriage. Well, guess what? When you go to a wedding, there's usually a meal served, right? They have the ceremony, they have the whatever, I forgot exactly the term, but they feed the people that go to the wedding. And here, if you're not willing to eat the bitter, that's part of the meal. That's part of the courses of the wedding. You know, I think it's called not ceremonial. Anyway, you get the point. You know, Google it yourself the actual term, but they serve food at weddings. You know, and if you just imagine all you ate was the sweet, the candy. Yeah, this motherfucker left his plate full. Because the majority is gonna be bitter, you know. Everything ain't sweet. Or you need to understand that life is bitter, first and foremost, and the things are gonna get a lot worse. You can't accept that. You think everything's gonna be cotton candies and unicorns and everybody singing kumbaya till the Lord return. You're greatly mistaken. You haven't even seen the bitters on the plate yet. If you think that. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, real quick, cause like the Joker said, man, you know, yeah, he was in the being interviewed. He was asking him, you know, why are you, you know, why is his mentality, why he think this way? He said, I'm just ahead of the curve. When these people have nothing to lose and there's no food on the table, they're gonna be just like me. They gonna have the same mentality as me. You know, people that just accept reality, accept the truth for what it is. And, you know, as Elder Gabar said, we being in truth, we're students of reality. We accept what it is. Hey, that's what the scripture says. That's what the Most High says. This is what it is. This is how life is. We accept it. Yeah, it's bitter, or whatever case. It may be bitter to the flesh, but a man of understanding, a man of knowledge and wisdom, understanding, hey, this is what it is.
You got to come to grips with reality. Yeah, exactly. You got to understand you can't change it. Exactly. Nothing you think or do is going to change it. So the only thing you can do is serve the Lord. You know, that's when you come to the conclusion of that, then you eat the bitter like it's candy. Exactly. You know, the bitter becomes sweet and the sweet continues to be sweet, you know, but everything's sweet to us at this point. Yeah, of course, we're going through hell, but we learn to love it. Like the apostles tell us, you got to learn to love. Yep. You know, you got to learn to love it.
Yeah, deal with Satan.
Yeah, because it's beneficial to you. Right. Because the times were coming in Jacob's trouble. Right. You used to the bitter, eating bitter to, like the brother said, sweet to you. You're used to it. So now when Jacob's trouble come, the Lord has prepped us to where we used to eat this. You gonna throw that boy back.
Right. It's like somebody come out with a plate. You gotta eat the horseradish. God. You start eating it, like, damn. You know, just ate the whole plate. And that's how the elect gonna be, man. Cause they've been eating bitter. They've been eating the bitter. Everybody else want to stay away from it or regurgitate it. Right. Once it turns bitter, they don't want to eat no more. But we keep eating. You know, we eating, so to say. You know, Jay let you say that. Yeah, we eating. Well, hey, we eat. The words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Can I get this real quick? This word here, numb, 1400s. It says to take, seize, catch, grasp. So we grasp the true understanding.
That was a verb?
It's an adjective. Yep, it says, to catch, grasp. So to back you up, we're becoming numb to that feeling of that pain that eating that horseradish come with. It's just we're numb to it. We grasp the whole understanding of what this is about. It's not about you, bro. It's about the volume of the book. This is chiefly about Yahweh Shai, bro. And then once you grasp that he's your salvation, you have that connection with him. You know, and Lord's will, you're a part of what this thing is about in marriage.
Going to the word initiate. You know, we're initiated. Real quick, just regular definition, conventional dictionary. A small group of people who share obscure knowledge. Mm-hmm. It says begin, commence, start, initiate, inaugurate, usher in.
Yeah, inauguration.
Yep.
The president.
It means to take the first step in a course, process, or operation. So we already took the Lord speak about a time of trouble. Well, as we know, Esau is coming down with great wrath. So we've already been initiated through the words of the Lord. Okay, the hell that's about to come. All right, we've took the steps. All right, it says usher in means to take the first steps in a course. So we're steps ahead of everybody because we have already been initiated
to the bitter.
Exactly, to the bitter. Well, what's about to come? You know,
so everybody's gonna get smacked with the bitter. They're gonna have no choice but to eat it. Yeah. We're like, yeah, bitter. Hey, you gonna eat that last piece? You know, if people crying, just taking little niblets of it. We're gonna be eating whole pieces of, spiritually speaking. We're gonna be eating the spiritual horseradishes like it's candy, while people are gonna be crying. Because you eat raw horseradish, that shit'll bring tears to your eyes. People gonna be like, because it's bitter. Exactly. We've been initiated. We've been, we're used to this at this point.
Back you up, Luke 21:34, just 2 verses. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be charged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares.
With surfeiting living in the ways of this world. The modern day terms be just being part of this world, man. Yeah, not surfing. Shit like swag surfing. Who was that? Soldier Boy or some shit, or one of them niggas. Surfing, making, indulging in your lust. In other words, And that's what the world teaches you. That's what, especially in America, which that's all we know. We live in America. We know firsthand account. This is Babylon the Great. All they tell you is to be the biggest demon you can be, and then try to be the bigger demon after that. So there's no limit to the unrighteousness that the image of the beast, the beast itself pushes out, man. That's why the image of the beast, ultimately the new world order, they're gonna bring for the microchip, which is the ultimate form of disobeying the Lord. You selling out. They talk about selling your soul. The ultimate form of selling your soul is taking that chip.
That's a sweet way out.
Yep. Because the other route would be bitter.
Yeah. It says Luke 21:34, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time in your hearts, meaning your mind, you will charge of surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that the day come upon you unawares is the point. For as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell upon the face of the whole earth.
A trap.
So they're not initiated. They haven't took the first steps, all right, to this course, to the action of what that Jacob's trouble. All hell is about to get ready to break loose. So it's gonna come as a snare upon them. But we already being in that mindset. We're not in the mindset of surfeiting, drunkenness, overcharged. Right. We're in the mindset of the bitter, as the brothers are going to. Why? Because we've eaten the words of the Lord that has prepped us, that has initiated us for the times that is about to come. We're just ahead of the curve, man. It ain't that we off. Like y'all off, man. No, we're just
we're on actually.
Exactly. We're just ahead of the game, and that's how you want to be. You always want to be ahead of the game.
That's being a watchman, being prudent. Mm-hmm. You got foresight. You're watching, being ahead of the game.
That's how you want to be. You don't want to start changing shit when it gets there. No, you don't already be ready. That's what the scriptures speak. Not scripture, but they say be ready before you take a pre-workout. Pre this, pre that. You preview what you're about to go to before you actually go through it.
Over a perfect example we use is a little heaven with Spence and Crawford. One man was proven, the other man wasn't. And he had him beat at every avenue. There's nothing that what's his name, Spence could do that Crawford wasn't already prepared for. That's why I
previewed his fights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then he had him beat every way, which way. And then manifested, and he got the victory.
Somebody stepped out of line.
Yeah, got that line. And then most of our people get that line.
So the most high gonna do what he do. You really got it.
This is Acts 14. Going back to some of the Tanakh.
Select real quick before you start that. This is the word in that verse for surfeiting. It says the giddiness, like women do. Right? Well, it makes sense when I keep reading. It says the giddiness and headache caused by drinking wine to excess. So these people are drunk off the wine of Babylon. So the giddiness, he's like, bitch get drunk with just a cup of wine. She through. She started. You've seen a bitch drink before. She get real giddy. And that's how all these people are. And then it goes into the root word says to seize. Carry off by force, to snatch out or away, to see. So you being in your giddiness, being too drunk, or being drunk, period, you're gonna get seized up. It say go back to the main word or the original word there. In the Strong's definition. Getting Strong's. It says probably a headache as a seizure of pain from drunkenness, i.e., by implication, a debauch by naturally a glut. Yeah, a glutton. You're a glutton in the sense of you want to just overindulge in the lust of this world. It's, because we use the world but not abuse it. We all, every person that is in the flesh has some kind of lust. So for you to abstain from every lust is not even realistic. You're not Yahweh Shai. So, but it's an indulgence of it.
Imbalance.
Yep. You start getting giddy. Like I said, you get the giddiness. Because when you drink too much, what happens? You get real silly. Mainly women. Like Scripture say, they silly women carried away, right? Yeah. That's not specifically talking about women. That's talking about Jake, man. Get led away through their giddiness, man. Drink a little bit of that wine spiritually, and now you want to drink some more and more until you become overthrown or seized up.
And to back you up real quick, Jeremiah 51:7. That's why Babylon is a golden cup in the Lord's hand. This place has made all the nations. Everybody's drunk off of that philosophy of getting away from the Lord and just doing whatever the fuck you want to do, bro. Yeah. That has been pushed all the way over to the east. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the golden cup. That's in somebody's hand. That's in the Most High's hand. So, it's the will of the Lord to put everybody in that deceptive mindset. It's the Lord's will. Yeah. I got something real quick.
Real quick before you. There's giddiness. The definition is the Oxford definition. Oh, actually, let me get the online etymology giddy, because in the online or the Oxford dictionary, it says a sensation of whirling and a tendency to fall or stagger, dizziness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're drunk. It says a state of excitable frivolity, so you become frivolous. You're willing to do anything at that point. But let me get the online etymology to see what it says, what it really goes back to of just giddy. I'm just gonna type in giddy because giddiness is. It says, oh, here we go. It says giddy. It's an adjective. It says insane, mad, stupid, possessed by a spirit. You get possessed through that wine. You get drunk, and now you're possessed by a spirit. Literally, that's literally what it means, being giddy, or giddiness, right? Which comes from surfeiting, which is the original word we were looking at in the blue letter. It says possessed, meaning having a confused swimming sensation. I mean, dizzy. It says dizzy, which means foolish or stupid. Dizzy,
And they showed that too in They Clone Tyrone. In that scene going into the club. Yeah, going to.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay, But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just them. Yeah, just. Yeah. Jake is gone.
Yeah, because that was the music.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's the ways of this place.
Right.
And that's ultimately what's going. You've been you've been drunk by this philosophy, and you just, especially during the time of Jacob's trouble, you go stumble and stagger in that.
You want to keep that. You want to keep that lifestyle. You want to keep that image, or you want to keep whoever the hell you are in Babylon. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can keep that person is to cross over by taking that sign up.
You got to be surfing.
Yep. You got to take that sign up. And then he's gonna open you up to, his technology. But this is Acts 14. Going back to the point that the brothers were establishing earlier, going into the bitter. This is Acts 14:22, and I want to get this word here, tribulation. This is Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. So going back to suffering, one of the definitions for suffering was to be able to continue. And the Most High, His name is He exists, Yahweh, which He is to be. So in order to continue into this thing, you have to have Yahweh Bashim with you. You have to have the Spirit in you to continue in existence. To continue to exist, you have to have Yahweh Bashim Yahushai with you. So it says, in exhorting them to continue in the faith, because Hebrews 11, it says the Most High is not unrighteous to forget of your work and your labor that you show toward his name and do minister to the saints. All right. It says, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So that's that bitter sitting in Jake, that Jake like, hold on. But, you know, they at camp for one, they come to camp one Saturday, but you won't. He'll say he'll be out there next week. He's not out there next week, bro.
Do a drive-by.
Right. He'll look and see if y'all out there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he's not going to come out there 3-4 hours and deal with that bitter, because Jake has to go through tribulations. It says that word there for tribulation. It says a pressing together, pressure. It says oppression, affliction.
I mean, people don't want to be pressured or afflicted when they're in the surfeiting spirit, overindulging in the ways of this world, because what that makes you feel good. That makes you feel better about yourself. That's why the scripture say in the last days they shall be lovers of themselves, because they're indulged in the ways of this world. It makes everything of this world makes you think you better than what you really are. Galatians says, he that thinketh he is something when he is nothing deceiveth himself. So you got a world filled of people deceiving themselves, man. Mainly here in America, you know, the root of the problem. Because that's why everyone's going to go down with Babylon, because Babylon's the root of the problem.
It says distress, straits. It says affliction, trouble, anguish, persecution, burdened, to be afflicted with. So through much persecution, trouble, affliction, all right, burden, all right, that's the bitter that's in the stomach that you have to digest, and a lot of people are not able to digest that. That take time.
Not are they willing?
Yeah, you got it up.
I'm just saying, not are they willing? Like, some people won't even take the first step, of even coming into the truth, even
fear the Lord.
Yeah. You know,
they will make every excuse in the book, because what they want to continue to be in that surfing spirit. Do what you that is the satanic doctrine. Do as thou wilt, do whatever makes you feel good. You know, well, now they're saying, oh, as long as it doesn't affect anybody else, it doesn't hurt nobody, do what you want. If you want to be a pedophile, be a pedophile. If you want to fuck dogs, fuck dogs. If you want to, you know, be whatever, you know, there's no limit now. There's no limit to it, because you can identify as whatever you want. You can feel however you want, and anybody that speaks against you is a bigot. They're the haters. You know, they're pushing hate. They're bringing evil, because they're calling you out for your wickedness. They're turning things upside down. Now I could tomorrow, if I really wanted to, I could identify as a woman and just start going to women's bathrooms. And what people want to say to me, this is America. I could just walk up in there, you know, because, you know, the women's bathroom don't have the urinals. They got the stalls. So I'm just in that door open, stand up peeing, and they can't say nothing about it because I identify as a woman. I joined the WNBA. Started breaking ankles.
They do, you just sue them.
Yeah, that's a win. Yeah, you're discriminating against me. Don't call me a she, her. Call me a Zir Zim. Like, what the fuck is that? What does that even mean? That's a fictional term they just made up. That's not even in the dictionary. Maybe the 2023 dictionary, but that's not Zir Zim. What the fuck does that even mean? Invader Zim, the cartoon character? Zir Zim. What the fuck? What? That's part of the surfing and the bullshit that America pushes out to keep the people in that spirit. The overindulgence of the wine, in this case, the philosophies of this place. Bar none, you can't say none of these philosophies came from anywhere else. They all come from America. Trannies and all that. Yeah, it's been a thing, of course, but it's never been pushed out on the planet like America has done. And that's why these nations are fighting tooth and nail. Now they finally starting to wake up. Hell no, we want Americans out of here. That's why the whole Afghanistan thing. Oh man, when they said that these American troops are leaving, niggas was losing their minds over there. That's why we're so much commotion. They're like, hell yeah, because the military that the Americans had trained, they're like, shit. Yeah, we might have all these weapons, which America left still over there. They're like, shit, they started analyzing shit like we really didn't even believe in the shit that these Americans were making us fight for. So that's why none of them fought. Who took over? As soon as the Americans started leaving, even before the Americans left, the airport, who came up? The Taliban. It was like, hell, but what? America had set up an army for how many years? Almost 20 years, right? They said they trained up this army, and then how they collapsed within hours? Because they put the guns down. Who was the one that was? Because remember, America left all them guns and weapons over there. Who was the ones with those weapons? It was the I forgot what exactly they're called, but it was the Afghanistan military that America had been training for all these years, and they put them guns down quick. They're like, fuck it, let the Taliban take back over. And what they do immediately, they brought back in order. They said, look, the women ain't going to school. We're going to put it into all that. They ain't going to school no more. So the people are getting sick of this. But they see it's just poison. It destroys countries. It destroys the way of life. Look at America. There's nothing but degenerates walking around. So when they saw that opportunity, they were like, hell yeah. So then, and you know, they were the military that have been being trained by the Americans. You know, they were just doing it for a paycheck. At the end of the day, they didn't want to be killed by the Americans. But as soon as no one was there to defend them niggas said, hey, like, what military? Let the Taliban come do what they got to do, and that's a fact. That was all over the news. How the withdrawal of Afghanistan. So this is going on around the whole world. That's just one example of how America fled with their tail tucked between their legs. But not the first one, so even which is more history, but the Afghani-Russian war going back to, I believe, the 70s and 80s, which really where Al-Qaeda comes from. The CIA, America created Al-Qaeda, and then they use them to as the boogeyman for 9/11 and the war on terror. But even though they were the ones that actually trained them, so it's but yeah, keep going, brothers.
You said bring it back.
No, you all right. I got something real quick. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, bring back on the point. And the title of it for chapter 7 says remedies against vanity. It's pretty much, the cares of this world is all vain, it profits nothing. And King Solomon told you that, we're in the book of Ecclesiastes as well right now. But he said after all this, he understood that all is vanity. The whole duty of men is to fear the Lord and to keep his commandments. But this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I'll start at verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So this is all about, discipline, It may, like the scripture say in Wisdom of Solomon, I believe the 3rd chapter, we we have fools accounted his life madness,
Madness, yeah.
5th chapter.
Or 5th chapter, kind of. But what we doing is we building ourselves up for salvation through the Spirit of God, Yahweh Shem Shai. That brother's going into, speaking about what the Joker said, we pretty much already been rehearsed and built up for the time of JT. So we just gonna be like smooth sailing or what?
Job 5. That death and destruction I shall laugh. The Lord is like the elders did a lesson on living on the edge of the Apostle Car. They're going into that etymology of edge, it says on the corner. Well, what is that chief cornerstone? So we are already living on that corner,
Verse 3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. So that show you though, although we sure say enter ye in at the straight gate, but this is ultimately strengthening your mind, ultimately building your spirit and preparing you, because sure say what the bride was prepared herself for the marriage. So adorned, Verse 4, it says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning.
And it was quick point of being adorned for the marriage. You don't want to listen. This is we're not talking about American culture where a woman to be adorned for the wedding, she goes on a bachelorette, a bachelorette party, go to Vegas and get piped down by Debo, the stripper. A woman getting adorned for the marriage, she's cleansing herself with the oils. She's bathing in the oils, right? She's preparing. She's putting on the white dress, showing the purity. She's preparing for her husband, to meet her husband, not being a slut, in Sin City, That's the complete opposite, but that's what America culture has pushed upon the four corners of the earth. And now that's an average thing now, bachelorette party. They're doing that shit in, all kind of countries now. Esau got to be eradicated, bro. This nigga's a poison. He is the serpent. He's a venomous snake. Because once he bites you, you're done. It's only death. You get poisoned. What happens? You die. And the only remedy for it is the same venom. And in this case, it's gonna be the nuclear missiles to get rid of this devil, man. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 7:4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. That's right here in this truth. That's why Ezekiel said what in his book was written, mourning, lamentation, and woe. So yeah, it's a straight gate, but like you say, we get used to the bitter. You know what I'm saying? Used to mourning, used to taking the low road. But it's ultimately, this is ultimately the road into the kingdom. The Lord says, strive to enter in at the straight gate, because many will wish that they could, enter therein, right? But the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. Always partying, living it up, thinking life is a joke. Verse 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna start using that. You surfing that ass nigga.
Ecclesiastes 7:5. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Scripture say open rebuke is better than secret love. So instead of somebody cheering you on and boosting you up to be a complete degenerate, it's better to eat the whole road. That's why he told Ezekiel, he said, eat the whole road and then go and speak to the house of Israel.
Or just cuss somebody out. That's actual love, man. You're not gonna cuss. I mean, there's bug outs, but the reason we not cuss people out, but the reason we rebuke and get on people, because they say open rebuke. That's us telling you need to change your ways, man, or die, right? That's real love. Somebody said secret love. That's matter of fact. What quote that again, Bob? Well, let me read the GMT, see what it says. And I
was just reading Ecclesiastes, that open rebuke. That's a different one.
Oh yeah, what you said for what were you reading?
I'm reading this Ecclesiastes 7.
Oh, you were just quoting it. Okay,
yeah. I like find it for you.
Proverbs. Is it Proverbs?
Yeah, Proverbs 27:5.
Let me see what it says there in the GMT. See how they translate it to the new speech. 25 and what you said?
27:5.
27:5. This is Proverbs 27:5. It says, better to correct someone openly than to let them think you don't care for him at all. There you go. That's secret love. Yeah. Oh, I love you. Yeah, but you openly correct them. That's real love. Mm-hmm. That's what the Lord did. He was openly correcting the people. Yeah.
Like you said, to have them think that you don't care for them at all. Like Jake said, well, why you on
right,
bombs like this? But you tell me, well, if you understood this and you want to be, smoking this and moving this way and worry about just chasing women.
We're showing them love. Exactly. And then he was sat there holding the K2 blunt the whole time. Mm-hmm. So we was showing them love nothing but the whole time. So now if you accept the love, that's up to you. That's not our issue, Because somebody can love you. If you don't want them to love you, they're gonna reject you. So you don't feel no type of way about it at this point,
Probably sound to a smooth thing.
We showing nothing but love. People call us hate groups. Listen, the most harshest words are gonna come from people that love you. Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand that, it means you probably haven't run across true love. People say, "Oh, true love is a man or woman." No, really, true love is gonna come from either your parents or your brethren. Mm-hmm. Your woman ain't gonna show you true love, okay? But she'll lie to your face. A true brother will show you true love because he's gonna openly rebuke you. Which there's a way to go about it, of course, but that's a manly thing. Really, men love. Women just follow, they just on for the ride, which again, they learn to love you, in other words, they learn to love you, or, because I'm talking about now, because, back in the ancient world or in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to love us truly, right? But like, brother, you talked about this last night, Rebecca, when she saw Isaac, she instantly loved him, So, but you listen, you ain't gonna find Sarah, the daughters of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Listen, they out there, but you ain't gonna find them. Be realistic. And then he who knows? They out here, they probably been hoes too. But nonetheless, true love is gonna come from men rebuking you. Which how Yahweh outside does. He rebuked us. That's the true love. And again, that's why I said that if really your mother, obviously, but your father is going to chastise you. And if you don't, then it means he don't love you. As the scripture say, he that holds back the rod, don't love his son, roughly paraphrasing. But he that chastises his son. Oh, it's like he that is without chastisement is a bastard. If you're a bastard, that means your pops bounce. And that's where we have a nation of bastards, how should I say, adulterous and wicked generation, like paraphrasing. Go ahead.
To back you up. The word correct. It's a verb, mid 1400s. It says to set someone right by punishing for a fault or error to discipline. Mm-hmm. So that's what Yahushua did, as the brother just stated. So we're in that same lot. We're on the planet Earth in 2023. The Lord has put the Spirit on us, all right, to set Jacob right, man. By us going through the state of being disciplined, man. By us repenting, the Lord has, built us up and established us here in Great Millstone, Tampa Bay, man, through the Spirit and power of Yahushua to set what? Jake in order. It says to bring into accordance with a standard or original. So we're bringing Jake back to glory. We're bringing Jake back to his standard as being a Hebrew Israelite man. And this is the condition. You have to be corrected. It says to put straight. It says reduce to order, reduced. You have to be humbled and humiliated. All right. Just like on the left-hand side, they have humiliation rituals, man. You have to go through to know that you are obedient to their agenda and what the fuck they got going on, how they rocking on the left-hand side. Well, how much more in righteousness, man? There's a state of discipline to grow in his wisdom and his knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Shai. You have to be corrected. You have to be corrected when it comes down to this truth. And that's true love.
Well, what's love? We're keeping the commandments. And part of the commandments is to rebuke thy neighbor, suffer not your neighbor to sin. But that's when it was going back to the beginning. That's when it starts to get bitter. You start getting rebuked. Oh shit! What are you getting on me? It's because it's showing you love. But we've been, the majority of our people been effeminized and been drunk with the wine of Babylon to think that anybody telling you something like that, to make you better or to correct you, it's only in this society only the police can correct you, not your family. Now your parents, everything outside of the police department beating your ass, right? Throwing you in jail, which they call a correctional facility, which you come out even a bigger demon. That's the only. Come on, man. We know what's going on. I mean, if you want to repent, the only way you're going to find out about that is through the prophets of the Lord, and a lot of times it's going to be harsh. Eventually, it's going to get to that point. It can't all be sweet cotton candy. Right, the scriptures talk about the forward and the what's the other term it says, but pretty much there's two different ways to convey it. But eventually, it's going to get to the point where you have to be rebuked, and you're not perfect. So somebody gonna have to cuss you out on your journey in this truth. I'm not talking about cussing out. People think cussing out, oh, you fucking piece of, not. I'm talking about getting corrected. Somebody gonna have to do it. It's better the man stand next to you fighting the same battle as you than the Lord come back and do it, because it's going to be too late then. Right. When the Lord come correct you, he's going to correct you with missiles or judgment, death. That's what it should say. They shall know it through death by pain. It ain't going to get rebuked, all right, but it's going to be when the Lord returns. Yep. Flames of fire. That's what Isaiah 66 says. Fury, anger. You don't want that. You want to just get ahead and take that ass whooping now. Yeah. Before that big belt comes out. Yeah. Before you step out of line. And be 11.
Be a Spence.
Yeah, you don't want to be Spence, man. You don't want a landslide ass whooping. At least fight. Yeah. But yeah, we joking and all, but this is deadly serious. This is your life on the line. Because you get offended. Because you might get offended, you get rebuked, and then boom, you fall out of truth, or you think you know it all, or whatever the case may be. There's different cases. We've seen it all, man. Beginning with the elder apostles, we've seen it all. Jake don't like the rebuke, and then Next thing you know, there's such thing as hell where people burn, all kind of shit. We in the new covenant, all kind of crazy shit. So hey, no one's above rebuke at the end of the day. And that's why the scripture talk about examining thyself, of course. You gotta be your biggest critic at the end of the day. You gotta examine yourself. That's what scripture in the I think it's in the Apocrypha as well. It says, examine thyself before the day of judgment, and thou shalt receive mercy, roughly paraphrasing. You find favor, yeah. So anybody got anything else? Okay. Hey, so with that, Lord's willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect, and we give all praise, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash.
Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who were well, and salutation, much love, y'all came out there. Shalom.
Shalom.